You're ready to let us know.
Yes, sir.
Priscilla's on time.
All right. Remember to keep the mic up to your chest area. Yeah. Say something.
Testing 1, 2.
All right. A little bit closer.
Testing 1, 2.
Yep. That's good.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, bro?
Say something, boss.
What up?
One more time.
Huh?
That's good.
Okay, say something.
Something.
All right. A little bit closer.
Something.
Yeah. Very good.
There you go. Gotta keep it right there when you talk.
All right.
Are you ready?
Team Elevate.
Yep. Whenever you guys are ready.
All right, Priscilla. Ready?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Team Elevate Power Talk. And today we are having a fantastic time with the one and only
Team.
Team Christian. Tanza and Jezreel. Christian, guys, first of all, before we even get into this, Win and I, Team 4, we just want to take this moment to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to tour your world. That's what mentoring is, and we really, really appreciate the time you guys have dedicated to helping us succeed in this business. We're family, you know, and before we got here, you guys thought enough of us to put our name on the list, to call us, to come in and go on this journey with you all. So again, thank you so much. You guys continue to speak to our future. And they're not counselors, you know. They're mentors. Mentors speak to your future.
The tour guide.
Yeah, they ain't got time for counseling. Anyway, and speaking of that, we wanted to talk to you guys today about being married and being successful in business, having a successful marriage.
Oh, yeah.
How both of them play and how it is this corporation to go. You always say marriage is two corporations coming together.
$2 billion
$2 billion corporations coming together, merging to create a global entity. So today we want to dive more into the relational aspect of it. What are some of the key things that you guys are doing in the marriage as it is successful that is helping you in the business? So we have a couple of questions that we want to talk about tonight and see what your thoughts will be. Okay, you want to start?
Yeah, so the first question would be, what are you doing to balance both? Balance business and balance keeping a healthy, happy marriage. So one is not overshadowing the other.
You want to start? Go ahead.
So to balance both, first is to realize that you are in business with your spouse, that your spouse does not work for you, right? That the day that you took your vows, you agreed that this is going to be a partnership. That's one of the very first things. Also for realizing each other's strengths and weaknesses. In business, some individuals think that working with your spouse will be really, really hard. To me, it's probably and should be the easiest relationship. Why? No one knows you like your spouse. No one. You can be vulnerable with them. They, like I said, know your strengths, they know your weaknesses, and they know how to maximize it and also be your covering. And that is very important in marriage. So we understand that we are in a partnership. We understand that I do not work for him, he do not work for me, but we have a goal. And because we're married and because we know our goal, it's easy to do it together because we know where we're headed.
So true, so true. Yes, how do you balance both? Great job, by the way. Amazing. I would say I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son to my mom. And the balancing is, I would say, you have to make your calendar your boss on your way to where you're going, so that you can be the boss of your calendar when you get to where you're going. When you get to where you're going, it's never a destination. It's always a attempt to rise to the next level, which is a constant evaluation of growth. So success in marriage and business is a constant evaluation of growth. If you're not growing, then you're stagnated. Well, if you're stagnated, then stale stuff dies or stinks. So it doesn't,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's a constant evaluation of growth. But how you get both evaluated through growth, you got to make sure that it's pinpointed intentionally. How do you do that? With your calendar.
It's your calendar. So from what I'm gathering is you set your days.
Have to.
You set your days, and in that you guys incorporate
Absolutely.
your communication, your action steps,
Your dates.
your dates, and all those. Okay. Is that Wynn and I talk about creating a PDR, a professional daily regimen,
Mm-hmm.
a personal daily regimen that you guys have? Because I know times, she goes to work, she's early, and then of course I know you try to kill me in the gym one day. You're trying to work out, but God bless you. But I do know that that's that level of discipline, because you want to push forward. They talked about growth. You're big on mindset.
Yes.
Today, one of the sessions you talked about mindset.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about growth mindset. You see, because people can have a mindset, and that mindset can be negative or positive,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
But what you're stressing speaks to a trajectory that is constantly elevating. So, what is that growth mindset to you, to the two of you, in the relationship and then in business? What does that look like?
You want me to go first? So, let's take a look at the ocean liner, right? In building an ocean liner to sail across the sea, you might say, well, the engine itself is the most important thing, but is it really? It's that little rudder. If it doesn't turn me away from the storm or from the iceberg, I could crash. Well, your mindset sets you on a course of life where that's the little rudder that needs to be the strongest, because life happens. You don't know tomorrow if it's death. You don't know tomorrow if you're going to hear someone got in an accident. You don't know tomorrow if the bank might try to forfeit you because you forgot. That mindset has to be in constant prime, so that when life's, which is life, we don't know what life is going to come at you. When it comes at you, you're always prepared for the turn, because you're able to turn because of the mindset you have.
That's good.
Right. So that's very good. That's very good.
I would have to say marriage and growth mindset. Typically individuals will say, what is the number one cause of divorce? It will be finances, right? But what do they put on paper? What do they put on court documents? Irreconcilable differences. What does that really mean? That means that we have nothing else in common. Why? Because you have the person you married 15, 20, 5 months ago, 5 years ago, is not the person you're chasing 20 years down the line. So if you're trying to love your spouse and who they were, and you met them as a high school sweetheart, and now here you are 20, 30 years later, and you're still trying to love them as such, you have irreconcilable differences. That pretty much means we have nothing else to talk about. So one of the key things in marriage and in business to have a growth mindset is to make sure you're growing together, right? So you have to, in marriage, but what does that mean from the beginning? You have to make sure we talk about unequally yoked, right? In the beginning, what are your goals? These are some questions to ask even before you even get into a relationship and get married. Where do you see yourself at 5 years from now? If you see yourself at, okay, I'm here today, but this is not where I want to be tomorrow, and this person is telling you, oh, I'm good, I want to stay next to mama forever, I don't have no plans, then maybe you shouldn't be with that person. Because it's going to be really hard to do life together
Right.
if they already have settled then.
Correct.
So a growth mindset, growth period, is being with someone who aligns with the capacity to be able to grow into who you're becoming in marriage and in business. And irreconcilable differences happens when you've outgrown me. So we ensure that personally as well as professionally, we're always growing together. He pushes me to be better, I push him to be better.
Yes.
Outside of business, personally. So that we don't wanna leave each other behind. And we always have something to talk about.
Beautiful.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, powerful, because especially the part where you say that you wanna make sure that your spouse can accommodate where you're going. Because eventually you look at somebody, you have nothing to say to each other because one person was growing while the other person wasn't. That's
Yes.
very well said.
Yes.
I wanna ask you guys a big question, because one of the things that come up a lot, and people will hear your conversation and wonder this, is trust. It's huge. When couples work together, that trust factor has to be in place, key. So what do you do to ensure that that is in play?
That's beautiful. So trust, it comes back to not a commitment but a covenant. Covenant of, okay, I've got your back, you've got my back. In order for us to be where we are today, she had to trust not just me, but the vision that I had, that I started to cultivate, that showed proof that it worked, in order to bring trust into play. Because you could have a vision, you could put in the work, but if the fruit of the work doesn't show, trust is challenged. Trust always comes through evidence. And trust always comes through evidence of growth.
Oh, that's good.
That's really good.
I don't have anything to say after that. That was good. No, that was good.
That's very good. You guys, you mentioned covenant. Now you're stepping into the space of faith and the significance of that in the overall journey. Business and marriage. Again, two major corporations coming together, two walks of life coming together to life it.
Yes.
You know, let's talk about the faith. Let's talk about the faith and the faith walk and why it's necessary in the relationship on both sides, corporate and home.
Well, first, we have to start with what is faith, right? The definition of faith, we all know it, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Well, when you're starting a business, it's scary. Most of us not most of us, we're all taught. School systems are designed to teach us how to be employees. They're not designed to teach us how to be entrepreneurs. We are taught not to talk to people, don't talk to strangers. We are taught to compete with each other and you either number one or nothing. We are taught to, how was your day today, but not, what did you fail at today? Realizing that some things in life you have to fail forward, right? So in business and being an entrepreneur, it's uncharted territory for a lot of us. We didn't come up with parents being in business. So that in itself is faith, right? What does it look like? So now you have two individuals who are coming together to carry out their vision. So one has to be a visionary. One's got to see it first. And then the other one may be a doer in the beginning, right? But if you don't have a vision, then nothing's going to get off the ground. Right? Then you have commit. You have to commit to what? Commit to becoming.
Right.
It's not, you're not going to see it. Also too, you're not even gonna feel it. Because too often we wanna think about, well, I don't feel like it today. Right? I don't feel like it today. Well, you're not gonna feel like tomorrow either, right? So it's not a feeling. So faith, entrepreneurship, realizing, like I said, the school system, how everything is designed, is stacked against us. So anyone that is stepping out into entrepreneurship and taking a chance on themselves, that in itself is commended. Because it is literally breaking the mold and changing the trajectory of your life.
Beautiful.
Very well said.
Very, very well said.
I would say faith is the ultimate test of your belief. It is, because it's the evidence of things not seen. If it's the evidence of things not seen, but you could see it through your mind's eye, but it's not there physically in fruition, there has to be a belief. And with the belief, it will drive the action to make the faith that is unseen real. So faith is the test of your faith.
Go ahead. It
So I-
sounds like you ready to go.
Yes,
in.
because we're talking about faith and what we believe, and you know, Amos 3:3 says, can two walk together unless they agree, right? So let me ask you this is a good one. How do you guys handle conflict when you don't agree? Because when you're in business, you're both leaders. You both see things differently, right? Well, in some respect, right? So how do you handle when you don't agree?
Okay. So I'm gonna talk from I'm a man,
Right.
and we have something called ego or pride, right? And
Yeah, that's the other part.
Let's
That's the
talk
other
about
part.
that. Let's talk
That's
about
the
that.
altar.
so when personally I grew into this. I had to grow into this because I grew up in a household where, you know, what the man say goes. Well, Dad, you forgot something, right? That wisdom was given to me through my wife. So oftentimes when she comes with the principle of love through wisdom, it's not received because I got something blocking it. Because she's usually right. We won't want to admit it, but she must feed us for us to become better. And so it stings sometimes when she's right, and I'm like, I gotta keep growing because this woman is growing. You know what I mean? So when conflict comes around, I often goes back to, okay, but she's my wisdom. So let me listen to what she has to say. I could be a little grumpy, go in the corner, lick my wounds, dot my T's, cross my eyes, and say, hey babe, you were correct. Right? And that's how I handle conflict. I'll be like, okay, let me think about it. Right? And then I come back knowing that
You thought
the
about
majority
it.
of the time, she was correct.
I love it. I love it.
Honey, I'm so proud of the man.
It's not easy.
I'm so proud of you. And I'm so glad that I stuck around to see this.
Yes, man.
Because you are amazing. I will
You are
marry you
too.
over.
I love it.
I'll do the wedding.
I love
I
it.
know, right? I would have to say conflict. You have to know your spouse, right? You have to know them. Typically women, you know, we're talkers. Oh boy, we're talkers. And we can think real fast. And we are quick on our feet with it, right?
Yeah.
But men, my amazing husband, not so much. So I understand that when I ask him a question, he has to process it. Also, too, women, we have a lot of people we can call. Men, the way they're typically brought up and raised, you have to hold it in. They don't have as many outlets or check and balances as we do. So when there's a conflict or when, and you're gonna have them. I mean, if you don't have them, then you don't care, right?
That's
I
right.
agree.
So you're gonna have them. It's just about how you handle it.
Correct.
So when there's a conflict or something that, you know, we don't agree on, I'll ask him something and I understand that he's not gonna answer right away. And just like he said, he's gonna sit in the corner and it may be tomorrow before he comes back. What I have learned to do is, I know my husband, I know that he takes time to process things. But when he comes, because he's a very deep thinker, as you guys can see, but I give him that space that he needs to make a decision.
Thank you.
So that, but it wasn't always like that either, for me. I wanted you to think just as fast as I do. If I could talk about it, I don't want to go to sleep until we talk about it, right? We just got to stay up all night, we got to talk about it. We can't sleep, right? And he's just like, I'm going to leave you here in your thoughts. And he would just go away. And then my feelings would be hurt. So I had to grow into that too, giving him his space, not understanding that he's not me. And it's okay, because that is what makes us, is he is total opposite, but yet the same.
Yeah.
So when conflict arise, or when I'll say disagreement arise, giving your spouse his or her space, realizing how they communicate, and allowing them to be able to express themselves. And then when they come back with an answer, don't ask another question. Because then they're gonna go back and take another 2 or 3 days. One thing at a time.
And the church say,
Amen.
So the last part to this, and I hear a couple of things in our discussion. Communication is primary.
I love the mutual respect.
Mutual respect is great.
Adoration.
Trust is there. Conflict resolution, you guys have that in place. What about quality time, guys? You know, outside of everything we do, we have to find time to steal away. We have to find time to go be
Yeah.
and become. You know, because when you have a business, the business is like a baby, especially when you're building it. Then you come home and you got babies, little corporations
Yes.
Yep.
that you got to pay attention to.
Little
Yes.
LLC.
And
Yeah.
start those little LLCs with legs and arms. You know, you got to start preparing them. But
Correct.
when it's all said and done,
Yes.
how do you find time to make quality time for each other
Stay
and
connected.
stay connected?
Well, we all aim for what I call financial freedom. And in order to have it, we've got to both have the understanding of, we do need rejuvenation in order to build the income to buy back the time. But in the rejuvenation, there can be no business talk
Got it.
because it's quality of our time at the moment so that we can go back to buy more time. So quality time, we schedule it in, it goes back to that calendar. We all have 24 hours in a day, but the quality we decide to bring to each hour of the day is totally determined by us. If what we're building is important, then who we are to each other should be as much important, if not more.
If not more, yes.
So one of the things I know that we didn't talk about much tonight was spiritual time.
Yeah.
If you put the spiritual time in, you will find the time to have the quality time so that you can continue to allow the spiritual time to feed you so that you can have the business time to own more time.
Yeah.
So that's what I
I
was.
love
And understanding that temporary sacrifice, right? Your quality time is gonna really 5 love languages, depending upon your spouse. How do they receive love? It may not be the same. Understanding what that looks like for him. Jay and I, one thing that we've always, even again, it comes down to habits, guys. It's really habits and consistency. How you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
I agree.
So even before the business, Jay and I would always, every year, go on a trip. Just me and him. Even when our babies were like little, like babies. Even, and we had no money, we were broke, okay? Broke. I was in school, he was working 2 jobs, we were broke. Even if that just meant once a year, we went down to the hotel in our local neighborhood and got a room.
Disappear.
And just disappeared.
Yeah.
It could be, it doesn't matter, that was our time. We've always done that.
Always.
Once a year, get away. Get away for us and check in with each other. It's so important. So we had that habit before the business. And we still have a habit. And to the point now where our children are accustomed to it. They will say, oh, mommy, daddy, it's time for you guys to go on a trip. We're like, yeah. Right?
Love it.
Like they know. They're like, okay, you guys get to get away. But also say that too, it's so important to remember in a marriage, you're still an individual. Meaning that I like things that he doesn't like. And he likes things that I don't like. And individually, you still need to nurture those things. And I need to nurture the things that I like, and he needs to nurture the thing which Jay, he don't like much. I always say I'm his best friend, and if you send him to the movies, he is a-okay with that. Like he called Joe Cannon and everybody else, he's okay with that. He's a big relationship person. Me, I'm gonna take a trip. We're going to Israel, we're going to Maldives, we're going to Greece, we're going around the world. You don't need all that, right? He just like, give me a movie and I'm and my friends and I'm good.
But I've grown, I've got older.
I know, baby, I'm proud.
So now,
So that,
Yeah.
that's feeling.
he's like, add something else to that.
Now you want to start collecting ice now.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So now you and Joe finna go and got it. Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
Listen, I'm ready for it, but
I'm
that-
coming in there.
Put it on the roster,
Put it on the roster.
but it's very important too to still nurture the things that make you so happy.
Absolutely.
Do not put that responsibility on your spouse ever, because their job is not to make you happy. Their job is their job is to see to it that you're doing the things and you have the resources that you need to make you happy, not to make you happy, right?
You should be.
You should.
That's
You
a
should
aha
be.
moment for a lot
That's
of
a
people.
necessary
You
coming to the table.
You
Absolutely.
should be, and you should be happy within, so that when you're together, when you come together, you're both complete and whole, and you can operate in that space.
Correct.
To where if that is you're going across the world, you're somewhere else, I'm okay with that, because I know you're doing you and being you,
Yeah.
and that makes me happy seeing him happy. But yeah, so we've always done that from the beginning. I always scheduled time, always had date night, even when we were broke and had no money. And we just kept that habit. But now it's a beautiful thing to be in business, because I don't have to ask anybody for a day off. I don't have to go to any man and ask them to spend time with my husband. I don't have to ask them, oh, I need a week off for my anniversary. I don't have to ask anybody for a raise. I don't have to be nice to people that really don't I have to be nice to. I can just go click on my W to give me a raise in my system, right? And it just whatever, right? So I enjoy traveling and building with my husband. It's beautiful.
I love it.
Drop mic.
Love it.
You two are, again, you two are phenomenal. I can't say enough of that. I told Jay earlier today, I said, Jay, when I met you, you were breaking rocks and building houses. Now you're breaking mindsets and building people.
Woo.
So
Goosebumps.
congratulations for where you guys are. We are all here to cheer you all on to the next level. And it's gonna be a good ride, man.
Oh yeah.
Buckle up,
Don't you
let's go.
agree?
We're here for it.
We're here for
We're
it.
here for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
This is TBT.
Just go ahead and do a whole podcast out.
Man, don't
At this point. At this point.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Man,
Oh,
y'all.
yes, bless you. I learned so much.
There's
Jay, how you now? You straight?
I'm good.
one take.
Next
One take.
One take.
Oh, yeah.
One take family, boy. Everybody, one take.
One take?
Yeah, we just do it one take.
Oh, yeah. No edits, huh?
What? Where the finish?
Get some water. Get some water. Water in the bottle.
Are those all the bags we have?
All right, guys, I hope you're eating. We're gonna get ready to start awards and recognition. Just a minute.
It's pineapple, peppermint oranges, cherries, coconut, and
This right here. Can't talk with me right now.
yeah.
And then we'll do some individual. I'm trying to call me. I'm like, can't talk to me right now.
Trying to rush.
I'm gonna focus here. What's right in front of you? Some of it.
I'm gonna just touch out a little bit. Okay, so you stand more this way, like that, yeah. And